Hi, guys, and welcome back to another episode of The Choice. Today, I have an amazing guest with me, Nicole Trout. I've actually known her for almost a decade now. We started back at the same real estate brokerage a long time ago. She's made a great name for herself in the industry and done a ton of business. We're going to go through a lot of really interesting stories today on what that journey looked like and how she came to the point where she is today. And we're really excited to delve into that story, to be a part of the journey, and maybe learn a few things on what we could implement in our careers as well. So without further ado, welcome to the show, Nicole Trout. How you doing today?
I'm good. How about yourself?
I'm doing super good today. I'm excited to hop into the stuff. So let's just get to the first big question. And the one I always like to lead off with is, why did you make the choice to become a realtor in the first place?
I actually made this choice because I had a couple of not great experiences when I bought my first piece of property, and I didn't really want anybody else to go through that same type of ordeal. And so I learned as much as I could, and my goal is to service people and make sure that they're educated through the process. So that's kind of what steered me towards becoming a realtor.
What was the bad experience? What ended up happening?
We had a house that was falling apart, horrible inspection. We weren't guided on asking for items in that process. We paid full price for a property that had been in the market for over a year. Just things like that. Just not a great experience. Now that I'm educated and I know what was going on back then, it's not great that happened. So I don't want that to happen to anybody that I know, or that has the opportunity to be educated during the process.
Yeah, well, that's a good reason. So you got into it to help other people not deal with terrible realtors, because unfortunately, I think it's a little too easy to become one.
Yes, it can be.
So throughout that, so you got licensed. How did you end up getting your first deal? What was that story like?
My first deal actually came from my brother and sister-in-law. They were only about 23 years old, and they were trying to purchase their second property. They were upgrading.
That's early.
So I was blessed enough to be able to be the first one in line to help them out with that. And so it was great to be able to work with family in some aspects, and get through that process with somebody that understood that I was new and that there was going to be some things that I was going to have to learn a little bit. So it did come from family, and definitely most of my business actually does come from referrals. So
Okay. And I'm guessing in that process of being brand new, you started with some sort of a mentor. I'm guessing, did you have a mentor when you first started in the business?
I did. I had a mentor through my first two transactions.
Okay. Yeah, that's always really helpful. I think I'm a big proponent of it. I think every single agent should get a mentor. It's absolutely worth the expense to have that experience on your side. And to be frank, it basically makes sure that your deal will close too. So I think that's always
Absolutely.
a really good idea.
Having a mentor is key at the beginning, I think. I don't know how people can get into this industry and not have a mentor right out the gate. There's just so much information. I just couldn't imagine doing it without somebody to kind of hold your hand.
I know, let alone for sale by owners. Oh my goodness. But
Mhm.
let's leave that for another day. When in the journey did you decide to make the choice to go all in and go full time, or did you kind of jump in right when you started?
I kind of jumped in right when I started. I waited until both of my kids were, old enough where they were somewhat, self-efficient, and put all of it into it.
Wow. Okay. So what was that like? Did you end up trying to save up some money for reserves before you started, or what was the process building up to that to let you to go full time?
Well, I was definitely aware of the startup cost. So I did save up some money to get going, but I'm lucky enough to have, a spouse that has a full-time good job. So I was able to rely on him a lot to kind of get up and get on my feet.
That's always super helpful. That's a blessing for sure.
Yes.
What would you say has been the way that you've been able to build the largest sector of your business? How have you mainly attributed the new clients you've gotten and the way that you've been able to build all the transactions you do?
Definitely referrals. Word of mouth has been my biggest moneymaker, really. I mean, anytime that I close out a transaction, I make sure that my client is happy, and hope that they will refer me out, and I ask for those referrals. So.
Do you have a process on when you ask for them, how you ask for them? Is there like a gift process or like letter process? What do you do to nurture that so that you can build so many referrals? I know a lot of agents and their goal is build the business off referral, but then in actuality, it becomes very transactional and they never see that snowball of growth.
I feel like it's really personal. It depends on who it is and how I'm going to contact them. If it's somebody that, would like for me to text them and we, go out to dinner and we go out for drinks or things like that. Others, it's, I give them a market update once in a while and just make sure that I kind of stay on top of mind. So it's really personalized. It depends on who it is.
Wow. And you keep all that sorted, I'm guessing, in your CRM systems?
I do.
And stuff like that?
I do.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, there's no way. I was like, I do this for this person, this for this person. Yep. I'm guessing you have different lists. Like these people
I do. Some people will get pop buys and some people will get cards. So yeah, it just depends on the client. It depends on their style and, where we are. And yeah.
Wow. And would you say that you get more referrals from a specific clientele base? Or is that not something that you've been able to track? So for example,
I get a lot. Well, I get a lot of stuff from the fire department. So I show up at a lot of fire department events. So I know that that's where, I'm keeping top of mind there. So I know that that's definitely keeping me in top of mind with the fire department as a go-to resource for anything that's real estate related.
Well, that's helpful. So niching down, that's always something that I feel like almost no agent does, because everybody wants to say, I work with anybody and everybody, but I feel like in general, the market understands that. And so trying to niche yourself down can really make a massive impact because no one else is going after fire departments, at least that I've ever heard of.
Yeah,
right?
It definitely helps, because they do work a different schedule and it is a different lifestyle. So, having that kind of inside scoop and knowing that is helpful.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's fun. Would you say that throughout the 10 years you've been in the business that you've had any doubts that this is something you were going to do long term?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We've definitely had our fair share of things that have gone up and down just in our life, daily life in general, that have made me wonder what it's going to be like in the future. But I feel like if you stick through it and you just keep a positive mindset, that you'll come out on the other side. There's definitely, those clients that will make you feel like, oh, but you just got to power through and remember what you're in it for in the long haul. And yeah, so definitely I have, but push through it.
Yeah. I mean, so did you have any coping mechanisms for that? I mean, other than like wine, but
using my husband as a punching bag. No.
He can take it. He's strong.
Yeah, definitely. Just talking through stuff. Yeah. With my husband, definitely does help. Both of us kind of talk through stuff that goes on at work. And so I think that that's detrimental to be able to kind of wrap your brain around things and have a different perspective. But yeah, just kind of talking it through with somebody that's not in the industry helps sometimes.
It does. I feel like sometimes we're in an echo chamber because everybody we talk to, at least almost all of my friends, are realtors. And so everybody I talk to, they echo back what I say. So I go back home and I talk to Kayla and she's like, what are you talking about? That
makes no sense.
Or that makes no sense. You should just do this, or you should just say this, or whatever. I'll be like, oh, this is gonna fall apart, and she's like, no, it's not. You never. It always works out this way, and I'm like, you're right. But sometimes it's hard to like have that 30,000 foot view.
Yeah, it's hard to have the disconnect sometimes, for sure.
It is. So being in the industry for, gosh, I think really you have hit 10 years now.
It'll be 10 years this year. Yeah.
10 years this year. And you were at the same company the whole time, right?
The whole time.
The whole time. So what led you to make the choice to come join us at Park Place and EXP? What led you to make that ultimate choice?
Well, there's a lot. For one, I mean, just the technology I think is amazing. Being able to have all of the resources at your fingertips, literally 24/7. I think that's absolutely amazing. And I don't know that you can get that really anywhere else.
I don't think
Just
so.
literally all of the support and the education, and just any time that I've had any kind of a question, I've been able to get it answered within 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm not even exaggerating that. So it's been really great. It's a up and coming company that people are definitely starting to notice. So I just feel like it was the time for me to make the move and make that leap.
Wow. Well, that's super exciting. And with that, what are your goals for the future in your growth? Is your goal to build an empire? Is your goal to have a lot of Airbnbs? I think I saw you built out like a cabin, right?
Wow, I did. I did. I ended up loving it a little too much to rent it out, though. I
So now
still
it's just
have
a
it, but
vacation
I
house.
haven't. I haven't been able to come to terms with letting somebody else rent it. So, but it is in a neighborhood that has all short-term rentals. So that has been a thought. Airbnbs is something that I've thought about, but with the different changes, with the things that have come, it's kind of changed my thought process on it a little bit.
Mhm.
I definitely just want to kind of build my business. I want to grow my business. Maybe someday have my son working with me.
Yeah.
So, that's kind of my goal, is to just be able to get to a point where I'm able to retire and not stress, and just have a great, successful business that, brings smiles to people's faces.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. I think one of the things that really resonated with me was when I first heard this, and it's a kind of a snippy comment, but it's so true. I heard that it goes like this: real estate agents don't retire, they just expire because they spend their entire lives doing sales, and there's
Hmm.
no avenue for an exit
Just
while
save, save,
retaining.
save.
Yeah, it's just try to save your money, try to buy more
Hmm.
doors, I guess, build
Yeah.
that, let debt leverage or something like that. And to me, that was one of the big pieces for me that led me to think EXP was the right choice, because of
Yes.
the revenue share model that allows you to build passive residual income by ways of doing stuff you're going to naturally do by being a productive agent in the business anyways. So I mean, it's to me, that was
Yeah.
a big attraction.
Absolutely.
And it allows people like you that just joined on to build organizations, and I think that's a cool function of it for sure.
Yes. I love the idea of having a team without having a team. Having
Exactly.
a team without having to kind of, watch over everybody, and sorry. Without having to do that, without having to kind of watch over everybody. So
Yeah, I mean,
I
but
think that
then
business model is absolutely amazing.
and then you get to give some resources, some insight, give all that wisdom you've accrued over all those transactions, but not necessarily be tied to reviewing paperwork or doing any
Yes.
compliance metrics or doing all that, because they can get their questions answered in less than 5 minutes too. So there's that
Absolutely.
separation there. And for
Yeah.
anybody that might be wanting to partner with Nicole, I'm going to actually put a link to this video in the description. So click that link, and she will reach out to you and have a conversation about that aspect as well. But one of the things that I'm always curious to know, especially agents that are doing a lot of business, where do you think the industry as a whole is heading?
That's kind of an interesting question. I'm not really sure. I think that a lot of stuff is going to be going virtual. That's kind of the direction that we've gone. I'm hoping that we don't go towards like that open door type
Yeah.
of a scenario. That kind of scares me. I'm hoping that does not pan out to be a good situation, honestly.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that we can kind of band together and keep it going kind of the way that we are, and make things better for the consumer and for us as we go forward.
Yeah. And what do you think all of this new technology is going to do by ways of getting new clients and trying to keep in the forefront of their minds?
Oh, I think it's going to make it a streamlined process, just making sure that everything is always top of mind. The systems that are implemented in this business model make it kind of brainless to to go forward. So
That's true too.
it's
So,
it's a great system for sure.
I mean, I think we're a little bit blessed in the fact that the business model and the company already has a lot of that stuff dialed in for us. So there's not a lot of back end stuff we have to be worried about or thinking about. But do you think that there's going to be any massive changes with AI? Or will things, do you think, I mean, all of this, I mean, neither of us have crystal balls, but do you think that will affect the way that real estate agents, connect with their clients? Because I know with the invention of things like Zillow, Redfin, and all of these brokerage sites that show the listings, that's drastically changed the way that being a buyer's agent works and operates. It used to be they went to an agent just to find the houses and then to tour them, then for the transaction to be facilitated. But now it's very backloaded to be a real estate agent, and it's very much distill to proper information and then open doors for a little while and then facilitate the transaction. And so it's drastically changed the way that side works. And honestly, the listing side too, because everything's online now, it's so much more media centric that, at least from what I've seen, to be competitive at the higher end of properties, the amount of media, the amount of videos, 3D tours, high quality photography, all this other stuff that's come out. I mean, all of that's happened while we've been in the industry. If you think back to when we first started, photos were still done with like handheld cameras. Things were still blurry, right?
It wasn't quite as easy as it is now.
No, well, it's more expensive now, and you got to find the right vendors and stuff. But what do you think? Because AI is very new, and do you think that will later change the way that agents end up working again, or do you think?
I'm sure that it will. I'm sure that it will. I can tell you, it's changed how my son does some of his college homework.
Does he even do the homework?
I mean, it really has. I mean, it's only going to continue to change and continue to flourish in different areas. So I'm sure that we will see that in real estate as well. I couldn't tell you how, but I'm sure that it will trickle its way into real estate in some way.
Yeah, I have zero doubt. And I think it's going to probably in the next 5 years, because usually things are well behind, when they truly get implemented into industries. So we've got quite a bit of time to prep ourselves for that.
Yeah.
So I guess to end things off here, what would you say is something that you do that makes you unique in the industry, and what differentiates you from all of the other agents? I know you could do a good job, and I know that you really put the clients first, but what would you say makes you completely unique?
I guess that my clients end up being more than just my clients. They end up being my friends, my family. So, it's not just a transaction. My reach goes to them far beyond the transaction. There's people that I've done transactions with literally 10 years ago now, that I still talk to all the time. And it's not about real estate, it's just about life. So I feel like that kind of sets me apart, just making sure that people know that I'm there for them. It's not necessarily that I'm there for real estate. I mean, obviously I'm there as their resource for that, but they know that I'm there as a person and as a human to be there for life events, not just purchasing a home or selling a home.
That is actually, as strange as that sounds, that's extremely unique, because most agents do not operate that way. I've seen it by almost every real estate agent I ever talked to. So that's really, really interesting. And
the majority of people I end up working with don't remember who they first bought their house from, or who, helped them with their last rental property or whatever. Their name, it slips the mind. So I try to not allow that to happen.
That's true. I mean, that it's also good for business. So that's a win too. And just so everybody knows, again, I will be putting a link in the description to get a hold of Nicole if you wanted to have a conversation with her about what she does, how she does it, how you can maybe partner with her in growing your business. And I'm really excited to see all of the things that we get to do in partnering together, because this just happened. We just partnered together, a little less than a week ago. Less than a week ago.
Yeah.
And it's going to be an exciting journey. And if anybody's interested in delving into what she can do to help you grow, just click the link in the description, and she'll help you along the way.
Absolutely.